Keep chewing. Keep chewing. Hurry. There it is. That's real nice. Hey, this is Johnny Beane live, 5:10 p.m. January 5th, 2018. Wow. Hey, we got Dave Nesdahl.
Hi.
Hey, man, you look nice.
What's up? Thank you.
I like that.
I feel nice.
You look soft. Yes.
Smooth.
Yes, and Caleb Rapoport. Hey,
hello,
man.
everybody.
What's
You
up?
did it really well.
How are you?
What's up, man? It's wow. I had no idea you even watched this stuff. You know.
Well, I mean, I get a notification all the time, so sometimes I chime. Sometimes I come and watch, see where you guys are at, and then I start, trying to fill in the blanks and stuff. And you guys are asking a question, and then I try to answer it. So I'm always trying to be the first one on the answer. So the Van Halen geek in me. So to all the geeks out there, cheers to you.
Yes.
You're here.
Cheers.
It's a phone.
Yeah. Selfies.
Oh,
hey.
wait.
Hey, Douglas. Douglas is here. Mr.
Yes.
BHB. Is that Bruce? Jaden James. Hey, man. Bozique. Frank C. Clayton James Hicks, 1998. Hicks. Today is Frankenstrat Friday, he says. That's right, Clayton. Black DH. Super Fuzz. Yeah, it gets quick. James Orcutt. R2R3. Tone Bolts. Vinny. And everybody else. John. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Wow, we got 30 people sitting here.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk some Van Halen, talk some guitars. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good to me.
Whatever you guys want to do. Hey, John Beal, 5150. Hey, man. So Caleb, what's you're an EVH fan, it looks like. A little bit.
35 years. 35 years. Since I was 13.
Wow.
It was there's a story. I don't know if we're ready to start with it, but
yeah,
it was pretty.
Yeah,
we've
got 32 people watching right now. We could start with that.
All right. Well,
hey,
when I was 13 years old, I had my folks had bought me an acoustic guitar after I saw the Who at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. About 95,000 people. I ditched school with some friends. And I knew that night that I wanted to be a musician. I just didn't know whether I wanted to play guitar or sing or play drums or whatever. It was drums, and then my parents said, no, we'll get you a guitar. So they got me an acoustic. I played it for a few months, and I lost interest. So that was in October. And by January, I had lost interest in an acoustic guitar. And then in March 18th, 1983, I went to the taping of One Day at a Time, which obviously was Valerie's show, and it was the final taping of that season. So there was a rap party, they call it a rap party, and we'd gone to some shows before because a friend of my parents was the assistant director on the show. So I'd been to that taping before, but it'd been a few years. And we get to the studio in the back lot of Universal in the Valley, and we go inside and sit in the bleachers. And I don't know what came over me, but I took a walk from there and moseyed my way around the soundstage and to the backstage area behind the set, which was the green room. And there is a kid there who was on the show. His name was Glenn Scarpelli. I don't know if you remember the show, but there was a little Italian kid that came on the show in the last few years that moved in with them. He saw me and was like, a kid. Oh my God. Like, he never sees kid. So he's like, talking me up, and I'm just like, yeah, well, okay, yeah. And we're talking. He just wants to talk to a kid. And I'm looking around all these directors' chairs with all the names of the stars on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a tall one, and it says in tape, it's written Eddie. And I go, is he going to be here tonight? And he goes, I'll never forget it. He goes, who, Eddie? Yeah. Want to meet him? And within a few minutes, Edward and Alex Van Halen walk back to where I was sitting with Glenn Scarpelli. And Alex had his then wife at the time. Her name was Valerie too. So there were two Valeries that were married to the Van Halen brothers. I think Valerie lasted like less than a year. But so basically for the next 3 hours while they're taping the show, because it takes that long to tape a half-hour episode, I'm sitting back there in 1983 with two of the biggest rock stars on the planet, and they're bored, and I'm the only one talking to them. So the whole night went on, and I asked like every question under the sun, you know, from Beat It, which had just come out, to I mean, everything he'd been working on. And they were, it was in the month prior to the US Festival. So they were talking about the US Festival and what they were preparing for as far as that show.
Mm-hmm.
And which, by the way, my folks wouldn't let me go to. And I still hate that. I think I would have died that night. But it was, all I can remember is that it never once did the two brothers look around and say, who is this kid? Who is this kid? You know, and can we get rid of him? Which I was expecting. And I went home that night and I looked at the posters a little closer and I listened to the albums a lot closer, and it all changed. And the next night I went to dinner at the dinner table in this house. This is my parents' house, by the way. I'm doing it here because my apartment is too small and there's kids. But I brought like an ad of a guitar to the dinner table for the next like 3 weeks of the guitar, the electric guitar that I wanted. So within a month, I had an Aria Pro 2 double Z, you know, blue black burst that I put a brass Kaler on. Mm-hmm. And that was my first guitar. And, you know, the rest is history, basically, because I felt like that night I'd met the biggest rock star, the greatest guitar player in the world. And he was cool, man. He was so cool to me as a kid that it changed my life forever. I'll never forget it, obviously. But, you know, a lot has happened since then. But that was the beginning for me. So that's a great story as far as not expecting anything. And then, you know, you're right in it with your heroes. And they weren't even my heroes yet. Like I didn't really know. I didn't know what he was doing. I knew he was the best and I'd heard he was the best, but I didn't know why. Mm-hmm. And until that night when I went home. And then I was like, I have to do that. You know, I have to make that happen for myself. So from 13 to 20, I spent 7 hours a day in my room and missed high school. So
did you ever see that One Day at a Time episode?
Oh yeah.
You've seen the actual show like on TV?
Yeah, it was like their honeymoon. I think she'd just gotten married on the show. Mm-hmm. And you know, it was I think one season before it went off the air.
Did she wear a Van Halen necklace on the show?
Yeah.
She did. I don't remember that, but mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
yeah, she wore the VH.
She showed me her driver's license that night, and it said Valerie Van Halen.
That's cool. And in her bedroom on the TV set, there was the big poster of Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. Yeah, she isn't the legend that she saw the back cover of Women and Children first, and that was it. She was like, I have to meet that guy. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She did.
Yeah. Yeah, and then something like all her brothers, you know, that
Well, her brothers were the fans, and she
Yeah.
saw one of their records. So
Mhm.
Shreveport.
Something like, you know, her brothers, they were known not as the brothers of Valerie Bertinelli. They were known of because they knew Eddie Van Halen because of Valerie.
Right.
Something like that.
Well, I'm sure their lives changed, you know, instantly. They, you know, they're next thing they know, they're in a family with, you know, the great one. So I'm sure it was an interesting, you know, I'd love to see Patrick on one of these shows. That'd be awesome, you know. So
that'd be cool.
He shows those pictures of him building 5150 and all that. So
yeah, I saw those. You ever see that stuff, Dave?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they built 5150 in 1982 or something.
Mm-hmm. On the racket court. That's what Eddie was talking a lot about that night, was his studio. He was constructing it, in fact, or it had been finished, so he was finally in his studio.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They'd just done South America like a few weeks earlier.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, very intense, and that's one of a half dozen times that I've actually met him. So, but that was the you know, God, when you're 13, I think he knew how much he meant to everybody that he met at that time, and that he better like make a good impression on a kid. You know, something told me something after, you know, in hindsight, I feel like he was concerned about that he wanted to make good impressions on especially younger people. So personally,
well, he's doing it still.
Yeah,
we're doing it.
So anything else? What's going on in the chat here?
Dry Heat is asking. Dry Heat 480 says, "Hey guys, I love the show. I live in Arizona, and I have my first Wolfgang showing up tomorrow from the frigid East Coast. What's your opinion about leaving guitars boxed for temperature adjustments, and how long?" Absolutely, I would leave the guitar in the box for at least an hour. Let it come up to temperature of whatever the temperature is in your house, and then unbox it. You just you don't want to go too quickly. The setup is going to be the setup. I don't know. It depends on. I don't think the setup is going to move terribly from the East Coast to Arizona, but it's just going to be however the guitar was shipped. So, depending on how you like your guitar setup, that shouldn't have that much of an issue.
Locking nut, nothing is in the box. It was the new 50-watt head, the EL34, which is fantastic, by the way. It really is. And I'm not just trying to sell evhgear. I was able to try it early before the release. I don't know if you've seen that video. I have a video on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw it.
But they brought it over to a music store in my town in Santa Monica here, California, and a friend of mine knows the Fender EVH rep really well, and he told him about me, and the guy wanted me to try the amp before it came out, and I was able to sneak videos. There's a good little YouTube on my page. So, but pretty cool. It actually, when I went to order mine, they were back ordered. So the one that I tried that he brought over, I ended up getting. So, and it turns out that it was one of the 10 heads that Eddie signed off on at the final production of the EL34 50-watt.
Wow.
So I have a special head.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very nice.
That's very cool. Dang.
Yeah. What else? Yes, that's right, Mark Huzansky. Janie followed me today. because on Twitter I get an alert every time she tweets, and whatever she usually asks this like question of the day, and I try to say something funny, and then I get like a big ha 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 response from her on Twitter, and then I told her today finally that the reason I try to make her laugh was because A, it's in my nature, and B, I have a feeling he's sitting right next to her and he wants to know why she's laughing, and I want her to say, Caleb made me laugh. So,
I saw that post. I saw
is that
post.
weird or what? That's pretty weird. Okay.
It's I mean, it's something we all think about. It's like, well, I wonder if he's sitting next to her, and I wonder if she's telling him these things that she reads.
Right. If she started laughing and he goes, "What's funny?" and then whatever. So.
Mm-hmm. It was about milk.
Yeah, her question was, do you drink? I can never. I've never drank a cold glass of milk. I can't do it. What are your guys' thoughts? And I wrote, it's the same as jumping into the pasture and going down on a cow, except that the milk's not cold. So I guess you laughed. All right, cool.
I'm laughing.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I should follow you now. I don't think we follow each other.
I follow you. Didn't you have like 3 Twitters though, or something?
I have like 27,000 Twitters. I've got a few. I've got my name. I've got Howie. My dog has one. Yeah.
I see a new bare bones behind you.
Behind
what
me?
Is that? Yeah.
This one?
Has that been sitting there? Is that even that has nothing, right?
No, it needs there's no bridge and there's no pickups.
Okay.
There's no strings.
No strings.
Right. No grommets.
Right.
Well, no, there's grommets.
Oh,
but
really? The neck is actually attached?
They're Ibanez grommets.
Okay.
Is it going to be another hardtail?
Yeah. I just need to get the bridge, It'd be cool. And
so
thanks again.
You're a hardtail guy?
I'm both, but I really dig the Wolfgang hardtails. I think they're just great for just well, I mean, I try to stay away from the whammy, because if I have a whammy bar, I'll be doing that stuff way too much, And I think if you play like a Les Paul or a hardtail Wolfgang or whatever, it kind of makes you think different and play a little differently. You might come up with stuff that you wouldn't have come up with, if you were sitting there just wanking. I think.
Yeah.
Dave's like, what?
Huh?
Dave's
Ninja,
like,
I'm sorry. Ninja wants to know the volume levels. They fixed that, and also they obviously they have that little splitter channel now that they had on the lunchbox, and you can have a full clean 1 channel with no gain at all, which you couldn't have on the prior 50 watt. So the switching now for the 3 channels is perfect. They fixed all that. Good question.
Very cool. Hey, Brent Z Rocks. Hey, man. And again, as far as the grommets on there, thank you to Brian Davies for sending me the grommets.
You have it all written down. Who gave you what?
I have to remember,
You have a little list on the side. Listen,
yeah.
Brian Davies gave me grommets. Greg Walker gave me headphones.
Yep, Greg Walker. Thank you for the headphones. Thank you, Dave Nesdall, for the Echoplex.
Oh, hey, Harry Evans. By the way, is Harry Evans in the chat? Is he here yet?
Thank you, Harry Evans.
Yeah.
Did you get your package?
I got my package from Harry Evans. I got
Harry's package.
Well, it's not a Harry package, but it's Harry's package. A big bottle of blackberry honey,
like this big.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Big, right?
I got chocolate, little chocolates, and I got some guitar tools. It's a wrench that tightens and loosens, the three-way switch on the Wolfgangs and on Les Pauls, and a fret, a little ruler to that's like a straight edge so that you can see if your frets are level. Awesome stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, cool stuff, and a sticker from Norm's Rare Guitars.
Whoa, man.
Pretty cool stuff. So
Yes.
I wanted to thank Harry Evans.
Amazing.
I guess I'll thank him when he gets here, but at least it's on video.
Oh yeah, he'll see this. He'll see this. Harry was here, but he had to leave earlier. BB Ninja says. Yeah. See, Caleb, we've got a little community that looks out for us. So
That's right.
That's very cool. We want to thank each and every one of you for that. That's who would have thought, going live on the internet, you would get people that actually care about,
Yeah, it's
that I have that theory. I compare all of us to Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters. You have that first experience with hearing or seeing Van Halen or seeing it, and then like you spend the rest of your life trying to build Devil's Tower in your living room, and then you're like, oh, my Devil's Tower I know it better than yours, and I know this about Eddie and all that, and it's like we're literally on this search to get the most information about him. It's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh man, and by the way, the back of Devil's Tower, there's nothing back there. Just to let you guys know.
No, it was.
I've been there. I
just
hiked.
A bunch of rocks.
I hiked. Oh, you did too? Did you
Yeah.
stand there at the back and actually look and imagine?
We climbed all the way to the sheer face, so you could climb up all those broken rocks. It's a petrified volcano.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the dirt around it went away, so it just left the petrified magma or whatever. That's why it's shaped like that. Mm-hmm. So then all those pieces of rock sort of fallen off around it, and then you climb those up till you can't. And then I think people they climb that thing or something on one part of it. So
is this a mountain in LA?
Oh no, it's in Wyoming. You saw Close Encounters.
Dave, come on. Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
I never watched
them. Oh my God. Oh.
I know.
What?
I know. I'll tell you why. Back then I was too young. When it first came out, I was too young. Then when I became of age, I worked in a video store, and watching
what kind of video
regular video store. It was a privately owned video store. We got all the videos that everyone watches, and it was like you just don't watch, when you work in a video store, you just don't watch movies anymore. You don't watch them because they're on all day, and it's like working in fast food. You don't want to eat it anymore. You don't want to.
Was it like Clerks? Or did you see that one? You didn't see that one either.
No, at the time I got the job because one of the video store clerks was a girl that I liked. So I wanted to hang out, I wanted to kind of get to know her. We went to school together, and I was like, well, maybe she'll like me if I get a job. It didn't turn out that way. I mean, we were friends for a long time, but that's all as far as it went. And it was a good job. It was a fun job. Made a lot of money doing that.
Well, check out the movie sometime, and then you'll know exactly what I mean by describing how we compare to Richard Dreyfuss's character.
Mm-hmm. Look at this, Caleb. I don't know if you follow my dog on Instagram or Facebook, but here's a picture I took of my dog.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right there.
Yeah.
So that's it. Everybody knows. If you guys know the movie, you guys know that mountain.
It's in the northeast corner of Wyoming, in the absolute middle of nowhere. And the only reason I went was because in 1996, I road managed my best friend's band. And we were in a van. When they were about to release their record, and they had to go out for like 3 months before in a van. And they asked me to be their tour manager. And so we were going from Minnesota to Seattle. And everyone was like, we have to go to Devil's Tower. So it was pretty awesome. Surreal. Especially if you've seen the movie, it's surreal. You can hear the music.
Oh, if you grew up on that movie at all. I mean, if you grew up on that, just seeing that, like in that picture, seeing it from the distance, you get chills.
Oh, when you first see it, it's like the movie. It's crazy.
It's like you're in the movie.
It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's this huge thing. Mm-hmm. They call it God's nipple.
I don't know if you saw, but when I was there, I had a little synthesizer app on my phone, and I actually
you played it?
I have a video of me playing the theme on my phone right in front of it. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Those 5 notes are literally like one of the only things I can play on a piano. And I still do it. Whatever piano I pass by, I go do 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 do.
Dave, you'll know this. Eddie actually played that for his solo
balance
at the beginning of Balance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you.
Yeah.
That's how you can.
I mean, I know that part. You know.
Okay.
I know that's Close Encounters, even though it's not what it's called, but I know it's Close Encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Mully's here. Hey, Mully.
Hey, Mully. Good morning. Yeah. Wow. He's teaching his classes this morning. Hey, Franklin. Yeah. See, everything connects. Close Encounters, Van Halen.
Yep. Right? E.T.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Richard Dreyfuss. You know what was the movie he did? He played a music teacher.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
Yes. Remember Van Halen? They had a Holland's Opus thing.
Yes, it's a charity in LA.
Yeah,
where Eddie gave all his
all the PVs.
Mm-hmm.
All the PVs that he didn't want.
5 guitars.
Yeah. See? 4 people just don't understand, but it's okay.
Well, did I know?
Is that how many we have?
No, we have 57 people watching us. 22 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Pretty good start.
Thank you. Awesome.
Man.
I put an ad out for my friends.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm sure 2 people showed up for me.
Saw that too.
So yeah.
Ozik says 4 Crystal Pepsis. Hey, Broken Chains.
Man, so what kind of guitars do you like, Caleb? What kind of what do you rock out on?
Well, I had an Ernie Ball since '93, and a few years ago, I felt like it was really small for me. I'm a bigger guy. I'm 6'4", and I got
oh my goodness,
you know,
crap.
Big hands, and that's a really small neck, and I don't know. I in my family, my wife's watching, I think. My only money for guitars comes from the money I already have in my guitars. So everything has to be switched out. And I got what I could for the Ernie Ball. I do have regrets that I got rid of it, but I took that money and I put it into a custom that I built. It's a Warmoth wood. I got a neck and a body, and then I just started adding everything I wanted in a guitar to it. Mm-hmm. It's in the I Am the One YouTube video that I put up last week, if you guys want to check it out. I painted it myself, and then I did one more after that, and so I only have 3 electric guitars at the moment. My other one is a guitar I've had since 1987. That was basically to be like a Charvel or a Kramer. It's got the hockey stick headstock, and it was built. The wood is by Tom Anderson, who I think he made all the Pensa wood too, if I'm not mistaken. But he's still a great builder, and I got that guitar painted. This is a great story. By the guy who painted the bowling ball or the Red Cloud. Pat Wilkins painted that custom guitar that I had made at the time. And I had mine was black and cream. And it was really nice. But then eventually that paint kind of wore, and I wanted to do something different. So I striped it up like the Hoffer Teacher guitar, but I did a black and white version. So it's gray with black and white stripes. And I think it came out really well. Came out very well.
Guitar.
Thank you.
Hey, Wayne.
But my next guitar is a Wolfgang for sure, American, and I want the gray stealth. There's something about the gray stealth for me. I don't know what it is. There you go.
Cool.
Confession.
Okay.
Just got to come up with the $2,500. So.
That's what this is. This is actually a stealth, although it's kind of dark back there. But it's a Chinese hardtail body, and then that's the standard neck.
Yeah.
Right, Dave.
Yes, standard neck.
Yeah.
I'd like them to come out with some more colors for the American made, and I think they will now that the PV ones are coming out, because the PV ones are beautiful, and I can't wait to check them out at the show next week or 2 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So $1,000 cheaper. Doesn't say EVH. Does anybody know the details on that contract and why they were allowed and all that, or felt like a 10-year?
It was a 10-year patent.
10-year patent.
Bob Miller asks a question. He says, "Gents, is the USA Wolfie worth the upcharge over the non-US? I have one coming." Yes, it is. That's all I have to say.
Leave it right there.
You've had them all.
Yeah.
You do have them all.
I still have them all.
Turn around.
I've got them all. I've got US made ones. I've got made in Mexico ones. And I've got an Indonesian one with a USA neck on it. He's got the Indonesian neck for my Indonesian one.
Oh, yes. Thank you to Dave
right there
for that neck. Thank you. Yes. Wow. Well, we've got some new people in here. Thanks for jumping in. We got 62 people currently. Nice. Leave a thumbs up if you're digging this stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you dig it. And I'll have Caleb's channel down in the description below once we're done. So give him a subscribe.
A lot less action on my channel than on Johnny's channel. So. For now.
Yes. Yeah. And Dave?
Yes.
I think Dave has a channel somewhere.
I do have a channel. It's channel 2.
It's the channel that it's all fuzzy.
It's the red channel.
It's snow. Yes. It's snow or cheese.
A lot of shoveling today. How was the shoveling?
There was a lot of snow out there. A lot of snow. Not that much shoveling. It's too cold. But there's a lot of snow out there. I'm not going anywhere this whole weekend. I'm not going anywhere till Monday. And even then, I'm not going anywhere. I'm waiting for stuff to come in.
Did you snow yourself? Did you snow yourself in?
I snowed. Snow.
Block the door.
Name?
Snoke.
I snoked myself.
Caleb, did you see Last Jedi?
I did.
You saw it? Cool. We keep threatening to talk about it, but I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody. So,
Me neither.
you know.
But maybe it's in my eyes right now how I felt about it.
That movie sucked. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Sorry, Disney.
Yeah. They lost me at the Jedi Skype part. Jedi Skype. What a way to save on sets, huh? Little Jedi Skype.
Yeah. Oh, Bob Miller is originally from one town over from where I live. Oh, very cool. It's from Seacliff, New York.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
NAMM is in the last week of the month. Or
oh yeah, what is that? What is that? The 20th?
25th, 26th or something?
20, 25, 26, 27.
28.
I think. 28?
4 days.
Something like that.
In Anaheim, California.
I like Anaheim. I mean, every time I've been there, although I went to the NAMM show probably, it was a few years ago. I drove down, I parked, 2 miles away.
Yep.
And hung out, in the hotels, partying all night, and then was walking back to my car like 2 a.m. And yeah, it was kind of sketchy. It was kind of.
Did you get
kind of weird?
Mugged?
Huh?
You get mugged?
No, but there's people driving by yelling stuff out the window, and yeah, it was kind of weird. But, right. And this is down the street from Disney,
It's next door.
Yeah.
But Disneyland ain't like Disney World. So Disney World is in a jungle, and Disneyland is on a square block in a city. So
I went to Disney World in Florida.
Do Disney World first if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I went to Disney World when I was 16. I went on what was it, Thunder Mountain? And swore I'd never go on another roller coaster ride again. And then I got married.
There you go.
So, yeah, what a roller coaster ride that was.
Right? Turns and drops and loops, corkscrews.
Yeah. But anyway, Caleb, I hope to see you at the NAMM show or somewhere,
I hear you're going Friday, and I was going Thursday, but I will try to go Friday too. So, so
yeah. Well, even if meet up, for coffee or a Starbucks or something somewhere,
Yeah. Well, I'm like 46 miles away from Anaheim, so we'll figure it out.
LA County's that big, huh?
Dude, if you want, just fly into Los Angeles at night. Okay? And it's the craziest thing. The lights in the grid of the city start, and you think you're about to land. It's another half hour.
Oh, really?
Land. Literally, yeah.
That's crazy.
Because the airport's at the beach, so you have to cross the entire city. And it's bigger than Rhode Island, I think, the whole spread. So,
wow.
SoCal. Yeah. By the way, it's 73 degrees today, and I think that's why there's 11 million people here. No humidity either.
Gotta be nice.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why people stay here. They come and they stay.
If you're here, it sounds like the big bad wolf is blowing my house down. The wind is so it's crazy out here.
Yeah. You got to find a lot of things to do inside with that kind of weather. So.
Well, I do. I have a lot of things to do.
You do. Yes, you do. Right? You got to change strings.
Yeah.
Strings are all frozen.
Not only do I have to change strings, but I have to file fret end sprouts at this point. Almost all my
what is
guitars have fret edge sprouting because it's so dry here.
Dave, what is your method for string changing on your Arsenal? I mean, is it like a bunch at a time or one at a time?
No, I just the ones that I use. I have little to no acid in my hands. So a set of strings, when I'm not gigging, a set of strings on a main guitar that I use will last a few weeks. But when I'm gigging, I change strings every two nights.
Yeah.
But I change them all at once, you know, like on a guitar. I don't do one string at a time. I change them all, clean the fretboard up, clean the frets up.
Are they all the same gauge and everything, or?
No, everything with a Floyd Rose, I use 9 through 42. And then depending on everything else, like Strats and Tellys, I'll use 10 through 46. My Les Paul has 11 through 49.
Right.
Gibson's usually I'll either do 10 through 52 or 11 through 49, just because they're smaller scale length. You know, depends on how strong my fingers feel at the time. And even though a 52 is bigger than a 49, just being able to bend the 10 and having 52 on the bottom, it doesn't hurt as much because you can still bend the 10.
Exactly.
What do you use?
I picture you like buying a case of strings, like literally like a box.
Well, I get them by boxes.
Oh.
Yeah, I have, I think, 3 or 4 boxes of strings on my workbench at the moment.
I use pink Slinkies for 30 years, you know, ever since the original Eddie strings. I remember I got those and all the time, and I would boil them. Did anybody else out there boil their strings?
I tried it. Yeah.
I like did it religiously just because he told me to, and of course it was all a joke.
You know, I think there was a time where he actually did do that, but I mean, his strings only lasted one in a gig.
Yeah,
his tech or he would change strings the very next night, so it didn't matter.
So it'd only be they'd be 2 hours old. Basically.
Yeah.
I always just thought how he'd be sitting there laughing, thinking about 100 guitar players standing in a kitchen with boiling water, dropping strings in and stirring, just laughing to himself, like
while you're making your macaroni and cheese.
Right. And then they go turn up the wattage in their amp and blow their amp because he told them so. I mean, didn't he tell everyone something wrong about the amp wattage or something? And a bunch of people blew their amps up because of it. I think a lot of people.
I think Guitar Player Magazine actually told people not to do what he had said. I think
because there were a lot of accidents
in the next issue. I think it might have been the April '80, the Jazz Obrecht.
That always gets me, Johnny. It always gets me when you can just roll off a date on a magazine like that. Yeah, I think it was April '80 on page 43, paragraph 7.
It was page 42, paragraph 6.
Yeah, it was across from the Rocklinger ad, right?
Unbelievable. See you later, Molly.
Hey, see you, Molly. And hey, Connor Johnson, man, congratulations. He just got the new 5150 Stripe series. He just tweeted me a picture. There you go.
Good job.
Connor, congratulations, man. You'll love that.
You know what? Connor also had a question a few minutes ago. Hang on a second. Let me think.
Did you see my tweet yet?
No, he asks, what gauge strings does Eddie use? Anyone know?
942.
9 through 46.
Oh, 946, right.
Yep.
Those are his. He's got both in his. He sells both.
Yes.
But he uses the 946. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Although during the Kramer and then Ernie Ball version of it, they actually had 15s
and a 40. instead of a 46.
Yeah, and a 40. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Wow.
Really
Why? Weird.
Really light strings, yeah. That's pretty crazy. All right, what else? Let's see who else. What else? What are the questions we have here? You know what? While I'm looking for questions, why don't you tell us another Eddie story, another time that you met him?
Okay. So after '83, I'd gone to high school. I got into MI in Hollywood, Musicians Institute, GIT, and it's a year course, and this is 1987, 88. So you just imagine the kind of characters that were at that school.
That was the time to be there, right? That was like the scene.
I think a little earlier might have been the time. There were guys there with in makeup and their hair all done, like they were ready for a show. You know,
they show up in like the spandex and the boots.
It was. Yeah,
their guitars were like pink, neon pink, and
it was interesting. But it was a block away from Hollywood Boulevard, dead center, Hollywood. So you had every character in the world going to that school. And I remember I would sit in a room with 4 other guitar players and Paul Gilbert there. And Paul Gilbert would be doing his thing. And I don't know, I was in such a pure Van Halen mode that I just didn't want to learn any of that stuff. I didn't want to ruin myself. I felt like I'd ruin myself if I started sweeping and doing all that. I don't know. So the whole experience kind of turned me off, and I unfortunately dropped out. So, but all my friends went on to college, and some of them went to Santa Barbara here in Southern California. So I would go up to Santa Barbara and visit them. And then on the way home on PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, in Malibu, I would take a right on this street called Broad Beach, and just a few houses in from PCH, right there, was Eddie and Valerie's beach house that they had. They had the house in the valley in Sherman Oaks or Studio City, and they had this beach house. And I would go by there sometimes and just see what was up, and most of the time nothing was going on. So I would drive on. And this one time I pulled by there, and outside the gates was a guy washing his car, and I recognized him as David Bertinelli, one of the Bertinelli brothers. And I had met him earlier at a NAMM show because he took pictures for the Kramer ads, and he was at the Kramer booth, and I would hang out at the Kramer booth for the whole 4 days at the NAMM show back in the late 80s. And so I talked to David, and I started washing his car with him. And the next thing you know, we're throwing a football. And the next thing you know, he asked me to come down the driveway. And there, sitting on the back of a pickup truck in an open garage, is Eddie Van Halen, and he's drinking a beer and he's smoking a cigarette, of course. And we go down and we start chatting, and I'm literally sitting on the tail hook next to him. And I don't think he remembered me, because I think every single human being on earth that meets him a second time says, "Hey, you remember me?" Because they want to be remembered. And I don't remember his reaction. I don't think it was that he did. So, but I remember asking him a lot of guitar player questions, like what he thought of the new breed, what he created, basically. Mm-hmm. These guys like Satriani and Malmsteen were big at the time. So I asked him what he thought of them, and he was like, they can play great, but do they have any tunes? Like he wants tune. He wants to hear a good song. He doesn't want to hear just people shredding. And it seemed like, it was a good point that he made. And I've always remembered that, is that, like, it's not about the solo, it's about the song. So But anyway, later on, there's a trampoline. I'll make this quick. So there's a trampoline next to the house. We just discussed, he asked me where the closest bowling alley was to where they were. And I said, it's in Santa Monica. It's called Bayshore Pin. And he's like, oh, cool. And then like a half hour later, I'm jumping on the trampoline on the side of the house. And I'm drunk. And I hear a voice say, hey, Caleb. And I look, and it's just picture the side of a house and a door open into the kitchen and a guy standing out the door on phone going like, you know, asking me, you know, and I look and I see it's Eddie Van Halen. He just said my name and he goes, where's that bowling alley? What's the name of it? And I said, Bayshore Pins. And then he just went back in like he was on information, you know, calling information, 411. And like at that moment, the whole like stalker thing and everything, it all ended because he said my name. You know, he knew me. You know, I just felt like, oh, okay, he knows me. I can end all this. You know, because I mean, I would go to the house in the valley. I knew where they lived, and I was crazy. You know, and the way I found out about the house was we had a local police officer in the town I grew up in the Palisades here in California, and the local LAPD guy was you know, no crime in the town at all, so he was very bored all the time, and they had those new computers in the police cars, and I was like, hey, if I give you a license plate, you think you could find the address for me? He was the local cop. He was so cool. And I said, all right, punch in APR11, APR11, which was Eddie's Lamborghini that his wife bought him and put their anniversary date on the license plate. So he punched it in and it gave me the address of where he lived. And I don't know, I would drive by there. A few years later, I think I was delivering pizza in Beverly Hills, and I came up with an idea that I'll bring a pizza up to the house like it's a mistake, like it's the wrong address.
That's so funny. Do you know how illegal that is? That you know what that cop did for you? Illegal use of a police computer.
Oh my God!
Pretty serious offense there.
Like 1984, 1985. You know. Yo, for sure.
Oh my goodness.
For sure, but you know, like I said, he was bored.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that was a great time. That was the second time, and then a few more times over the years. The last time was the 2012 tour. I had somehow become friends with Wolfgang on Twitter, and because I'm a huge Kings fan, LA Kings fan, and he is too. And I think he liked some of my LA Kings tweets. They were going through their Stanley Cup run in 2012, and it was during the Adcott tour. And I ended up seeing him at Game 4 of the Stanley Cup final. Of course, we lost that night. We were up 3-0, and I could have seen the Stanley Cup we won, but we didn't. But he walked right down in front and sat 3 rows in front of me with his girlfriend and Maddie cool. Bruck. And so the first intermission comes, and I just got up and went and talked to him. And I told him that story about One Day at a Time. And then I told him about, you know, what it's done for my life or whatever. And so they leave, and then his girlfriend follows me on Twitter. And I write to him, hey man, your girlfriend followed me, maybe you should. And so he does. And to this day still, I don't know if he's probably muted me by now, but
they're all good stories. Real good stories.
So quickly, they were playing in Los Angeles and then moving to Phoenix, and this is all the same week as the Kings won the Stanley Cup. And I was going to go to the LA show the Anaheim show and the Phoenix show. My wife's my mother-in-law lives in Tempe, Arizona. So we made a thing out of it. We'll go visit. We'll go see the show. Mm-hmm. So since, you know, when someone follows you on Twitter, you can direct message them. So I sent Wolfie a direct message. Hey, I'm in Phoenix, coming to the show. You know, my wife would really think I'm the coolest guy in the world if I could get her backstage. Any chance? You know, I thought I would ask. And he messaged me back that, you know, tonight's not a good night. All the Fender guys are here because they're in Phoenix, and you know, we're getting out of here right away after the show. So, you know, any other time, I was like, all right, fine, cool. So we go down to the show. We're eating a steak across the street, and I get a message from his girlfriend, and it's, "Where are you guys?" So we run to our seats, and I couldn't get back to her. She wouldn't respond to me. And then I see Matt Bruck walking around, and I call him over to me, and he remembers me from the hockey game the week before. And he was like asking me what I thought about the parade and all that. And because he's a hockey fan, he's a Flyer fan. I think he's from Philadelphia. And we're talking, and then I said, well, here, Wolfie's girlfriend just messaged me. I think they're looking for me. And he's like, oh, I'll go check. So he goes backstage, comes back 5 minutes later with 2 passes and some picks. And he told me, just meet me down stage left after the show. So I've never wanted a Van Halen show to go faster.
You're like, no encores, please.
Right? And there weren't, by the way.
Eddie, keep your solo to 10 minutes.
That's funny.
So we push, we have to push against the crowd, and we go, and he's waiting for us. And he goes right this way and takes us back to the dressing room area. The 3 Van Halens are in one area, and then Roth is like way far away. And I think that's still to this day, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like apparently they didn't even talk on the last tour or something. Like they literally met on stage and then saw each other the next night on stage, or you know.
Yeah, but I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
There's no love. There's no love lost.
It's business.
Mm-hmm.
All business. But so he told us to wait there for they're showering. So we're back there. We're sitting on some cases. People are loading out around us, and he comes and gets us and brings us back. And there, you know, there's Eddie Van Halen's room. So he opens the door and looks in, and then turns around and looks at me. He goes, "We'll go to Wolf's room." So we go to Wolfgang's room and open the door, and there's Wolfgang and his girlfriend and his mother, Valerie, and her brother, Patrick, and his wife. And they're all like, "Hey!" You know, and I was like, we were the only 2 people invited backstage after the concert. And I thought that was strange, you know.
They're like, you were that kid that was on the One Day at a Time set.
No, but I did. She remembered me.
You got bigger.
she didn't remember my face, but she remembered the story.
That's
because
cool. Wow.
Because I mentioned the woman who was the director, assistant director to her, that we were friends with them, and then she remembered that she had a friend whose kid was completely obsessed. That was the story, and here I am, you know, now a grown man, still obsessed, and so we're talking hockey, and blah blah blah, and the door opens, and Ed walks in, and this is funny, man. He goes,
before you go any further, just want to say hello to Greg Walker. He says hello to us.
Hey, Greg.
Okay. Hey, Greg.
All right.
So Eddie Van Halen, I'm face to face again with my hero. This is 2012, and June 2012, and this is actually like a month before his surgery. Remember he had emergency surgery.
Yeah. What do you have, like diverticulitis?
He had like an event, it was like serious. So he, you know, we're shaking hands, and he's like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And I go, "Good." "Congratulations." "Okay." He goes, "What's it like to lift that thing up?" And I go, I don't know. I'm like looking around, and he goes, "I heard you get to like spend a week with it. Is that true?"
The Stanley Cup.
Right. So, and then then Wolfgang goes, "Dad, I told you I met him at the game. He's not on the team." And because he said, like, I'm a big guy, you know, I got some fake teeth, you know, from a hockey injury actually, and he said, like, you got the fake teeth or whatever. So, and it was a big laugh for everybody. It was hilarious. So, it was pretty funny.
Should have kept it going. You should have Ed. You should come over sometime. You can take a look.
I had no when Eddie Van Halen's looking at you like you're the coolest thing in the world. You know, you're like, what? I had no idea. You know, I didn't know what he was talking about, and he didn't either. And he said like there was so much weed in the crowd that night that he got a contact high or something.
So funny.
Remember, didn't they give a guitar to a hockey player?
Yeah,
a Wolfgang with like the
guy's number
with
Luke
the logo.
Luke Robitaille is the president of the Kings now. He's you know, a Hall of Famer, left wing. He's like all-time leader in points for a left winger in hockey, and now he's the president of the team. And since Wolfie was such a huge fan, that the team started making arrangements for them a few times, and I think in response to that, Eddie and Wolf brought him a Wolfgang, which I believe is only with a rear pickup, and the LA Kings logo is where the front pickup is.
Right. That's it. One pickup. Yeah.
Right. So you probably that's a rare guitar right there.
Let me see if I can find a picture of that to show you guys.
Of course he has it. Of course you have that.
Well, no, I'm Googling.
Oh.
Google Robitaille Van Halen. Robitaille. So.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is my two biggest passions in the world are Eddie Van Halen and LA Kings hockey. So it's weird how it all connects.
That was a win-win for you.
It all connected.
Right there.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a few years ago. 4 years ago?
2014.
2014?
You see that
Okay.
the jerseys they have?
Oh,
it looked like Eddie's was spelled incorrectly.
So there's I've wondered about that guitar because I remember.
Oh, is that why he liked the gray stealth?
No, but see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
Cool.
I love it anyway. But that's pretty cool.
Wow.
That is very cool.
Signed by both of them. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, full of great stories. Can you believe
Luke's wife Stacia follows me on Twitter too, so everybody's wife follows me.
Man.
70 people watching us right now.
All right. What's up, everybody?
It's good stories.
This is my first time on this show, and I just like to say, everybody, thank you for having me. And
by the way, those of you that don't know who this is, it's Caleb Rapoport. He's a great guitar player. You got to watch some of his Facebook posts. He's really
thank you.
One of the better guitar players out there.
I'm no Stinchcomb, but I can play.
Charlie is amazing. Charlie's pretty amazing. But yeah,
you know what Charlie does that as good as anybody I've ever heard, and that's his bending.
Yeah, and his vibrato. His vibrato is also really
his bending and his bends and his shakes are as good as anybody that I've heard. Like anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Charlie. He'll be at the NAMM show. He'll be there.
Yeah.
With Gerd, right?
So we'll have to try to find, you know, each other and take like a group picture or something, you know?
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of the cool people, you know.
I want to meet Gerd for sure, because
Gerd, yep.
you talk about a collection. I said the other day that or today when in our pre thing, I said to Dave he has got the greatest collection
Pre-interview
replicas, but Gerd has the greatest collection of EVH.
And just Wolfgang and EVH brand. Yeah. I think he's got PVs too, correct? He's got like PVs and
every kind.
Music kind. Man as well. He's got Music Man too, correct?
Dave, if create an Instagram account, go follow Gerd.
Get Gerd on here.
You'll
get Gerd.
We've asked him. It's you know, being in Germany, it's very hard for him to get here.
The time difference. Yeah, right. we talked to him though. I mean, I've known Gerd for years. I see him at the NAMM show, you know, with Adam FU Tone and yeah.
Gerd Metzger. Does he have a connection to the brand? I mean, is he like a part owner or something? It feels like he's in it, like, you know, because he's there and hanging out and just almost feels like he's got a piece.
You would think so, but no, I don't think he has a piece. I think he's just I don't know. I'd be speculating, and I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew. But
he's a fan. He's a major fan. Super fan of the guitars of Van Halen. Like you see his pictures, you know, that's like his own.
Yeah,
that's like his room, you know.
Yeah. Instagram, everyone follow Gerd Metzger on Instagram. And
yeah,
if you're a Van Halen fan, you're not as big a Van Halen fan as Gerd Metzger. Just I'm warning you.
You thought you were.
Bruce.
Good night, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gerd. He's great. He tags me in a lot of his posts.
Me too. And I feel special. I do. It's very cool to be like a little part of this because you know, it's our own little thing, man. We've all been like taken over. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like, you know, during the 70s, 80s, even 90s, you know, it's like we know there's other people out there that like the same thing, but you don't know them, you know, and then now you're on the internet, you're meeting, like, look at us, you know, that's how three of us met.
There's a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And
night, Bruce.
Good night, Bruce.
There's a lot of us, and we should be feared.
Well, Zeke has a great question. Speaking of NAMM, Dave or Johnny, your thoughts on Gibson skipping NAMM, indicative of worse things to come?
Wow.
Well, yeah, they're skipping NAMM.
Well, what I heard was they're skipping NAMM, but they're gonna show up at a show in Las Vegas, some trade show over there. So I think they're going there instead. I think.
Probably the reason why is they do want to do some sort of trade show, but the money that the companies have to pay to do NAMM is it's astronomical. It's the rental space for those 4 days is so big, and Gibson is bleeding money like crazy at the moment. The only area where Gibson is really doing well is their custom shop, and that's a very small area in the company. Gibson USA is not doing very well.
Right.
So they're just trying to, you know, patch up all the holes and you know, not they want to stay alive.
Well, just imagine how more expensive their hauling fee is than other people because their guitars are so heavy. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that means no Gibson, no Kramer, you know, because Kramer was you would go into the Gibson room, and that's where the Kramers would be, you know.
What do you think of those Kramers?
I don't.
Right.
Well, they had what was it, 2 years ago? They had a pretty cool display, Kramer display, the different Berettas, you know, the different colors and everything. I took some pictures, you know, played some of the guitars. But was it last year and maybe the year before, you'd go in there and it'd be like one Kramer, just one guitar, you know? So not
20,000. It's
not much.
20,000 for NAMM.
$20,000 for 4 days is a lot of money.
Is that for the vendor? Is that for the vendor to pay?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's a lot of money because there's like 3 huge rooms at the convention center down there that are full. So, and several floors there too. It is crazy, that thing.
So you've been there before, right? You've been to, well, not just the Anaheim Convention Center, but like the NAMM. So it's not just like the 3 or 4 floors, where Fender is on one side, PV's on the other, Gibson would be right in the middle, usually. The different floors, but there's the whole other hall that has everything else.
Yeah. I mean, things used to be different. I think in the last several years, there's bands that there's brands that are staying in their same area, just so that people can remember where they are when they come the next year, because the actual Fender display has all their licenses under all their guitar, Jackson, Charvel, everything in one area, EVH, and what was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying.
There's 2 rooms.
Totally awesome.
Fender has 2 rooms.
It's a huge. I mean, the big rooms where you can walk for miles and see every kind of drum maker and every kind of
DJ stuff, microphones.
Yeah, I mean,
Marshall's down there.
I don't even think you could do the whole thing in 4 days. Like, you can't see everything in 4 days. It's gigantic.
It's crazy because you're walking.
Real quick, let's say goodbye to Jay. Jay's phone is going to die, and he said see you Monday for an unboxing, an EVH guitar unboxing.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Yes.
So sorry about that, Johnny. I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going.
I don't know what I was even.
Right.
When do you ever know?
I don't know. What else? Any questions?
Yeah, what's that beeping noise?
The bees trying to get to that thing of honey that you just got.
The honey. I have to open it up. Harry Evans, again, thank you so much. If you're here, and if you're not here, well, thank you anyway.
Yeah, it's great. So that was the that was the 2012 story. That's the last time I ran into him. But yeah, good stuff for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great stories, great guitar playing.
Oh, I'm looking forward to, but we're talking about now. I'm looking forward to trying the PVs.
The HP2s, yeah.
Yeah, just so I can try that and then go over to the Wolfgangs and try those, and just to get that, to see where they're at, because I feel like PV is like gonna try and do like pull a fast one or something. They're gonna I think they're really gonna put something good into those guitars to try and out EVH them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
They wouldn't do it if they wouldn't do it if they didn't have something close or better. I don't think they would do it.
I haven't played one yet, but I think they're exactly like, I have 4 PV Wolfgangs here, and they should feel exactly alike. They should look and feel exactly like those. The only difference is that the new ones won't have D-tuners on them, and they don't have Eddie's name on them. Right. But other than that, it should be exactly the same guitar as it was. That being said, what's that?
Those new finishes on
they're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, they're all gorgeous.
Yeah.
The ocean blue, forget it.
The green to blue velvet. Is beautiful.
Good stuff. I really would like to see the EVH brand come out with some translucent colors.
Absolutely.
Like translucent on the USA, like purple, green, red.
I have a feeling with the PV development that might happen.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, and I think they should bring the price down a little bit as well, just to be more in the ballpark. Or if they're not going to bring the price down, then have more to offer.
Right.
That's just
the D-Tuna. Do you know? You guys, everyone knows who created the D-Tuna, right?
I've heard stories. I'm friends with Adam, so I let the stories be stories, and I just I don't I don't know. I'm not going to say that I know because I really don't.
Okay.
I don't know the truth. You can tell us that off air. How about
okay. I will. I understand. I didn't give anything away.
Yeah. Bob Miller says he's got 2 HP2s and they're awesome. Yeah, the coolest part of the HP2s is the split coils. That's absolutely correct. Stan Adams says they have split coils also, and yes, that's
where's
the selling point.
Where's the switch?
It's not a switch. They're push-pull pots.
Oh,
yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, Bob Miller says they're exactly like the old ones, plus coil splitting. So that's cool. I'd love to see one. I'd love to put my hands on one.
Me too.
And you will. You're going to do that in a couple weeks.
I will, and I will film it.
You have to report back.
I will.
You really have to report back.
You know what I'll do my next video on YouTube will be a comparison.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And of course I'll say the EVH is better because I don't want to piss off Eddie Van Halen. But
well, I don't think that would piss him off. I think even if you were to tell him something like that, I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, and he can't be upset with you over an opinion.
Yeah.
He does what he does, and if you like something different, you like something different. Quite frankly, I mean, it's paying homage to his guitar anyway. So I mean, I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, what is it? The Strat and the Telly and the Les Paul are so iconic, but so many people have made that shape. And
everybody copies those.
And now the Wolfgang.
Yeah.
So it was inevitable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it'll be good. And Johnny should be back in a moment. There.
Hey, what? Here I am.
What? Oh, woke up.
What I miss? Yeah, I had to take a quick nap.
No Snapple bottle.
Feeling better now?
No Snapple bottle.
No.
I got the old vitamin water, the Zero. I use that.
That's lemonade? What you use?
That's what I use.
Uh-huh. Well, that's why I get those Trenta Starbucks cups. Because you can drink it and then you can refill it if you have to.
Yep.
Thank you. So what? What time is it?
9:29.
62
people watching. 62 people still watching.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you, Keith Michael. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. I could tell stories all day. So, and as you can tell.
Plain James Hicks says, "Hey Johnny, you should use the MXR Echoplex delay so that you can get the end of eruption."
Cool. Yeah, Clayton. Good idea, man. Although Clayton, that's not what he used at the end of eruption. He actually used a Univox, I think. Where's Alan Garber? But Clayton, if you listen to like the echo on like Ain't Talking About Love, that's an Echoplex on the guitar. So
yes, that's a hard millisecond slap to get.
It's 300.
Is it
300 milliseconds? Yes.
Okay, there you go.
With one repeat.
One repeat at what level feedback? You know?
Oh well, that's the feedback shouldn't be that high. You want it to be underneath the original the original tone of the guitar, but enough to hear it, but not to equal the original sound.
Probably like a little more than half, maybe, I don't know. But
yeah,
that's a fun song to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always. I mean, that riff, you know.
Well, I think if the solo is very easy, and if you just to get to the end and that last lick, and then pluck the G and dive bomb it is as Van Halen as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
I said pluck the D or pluck the G. Sorry.
It's Van Halen trying to be punk rock, is what it is.
Right.
You know.
2 chords.
Yeah.
It certainly is. Yeah.
A 2
when you
chord
think
song.
about it, yeah, when you think about it, it is punk rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when they wrote it. That was like their punk rock tune, you know? Because when they're writing those songs, that's what was big, was punk.
Here's a good Van Halen question for everybody out there who's played or tried to play it in a band. I personally think the hardest thing to play that's Van Halen is the pre-chorus of Unchained with a drummer. It is because the drums completely flip in the first section, so it's the strangest thing. But if you get through the first part, you're good. But it's very hard. Like, it's hard to lock up. I always wondered how they came up with that part of that song. It sounds like one of those mistakes, you know. Those magic mistakes that you make.
I mean, it's the Van Halen brothers. I think that's part of their magic of playing together,
right?
Doing things that nobody. Yeah,
it's their 2 right hands are the same person, so it's like they're completely in sync. And they've always said, like, when one of them's off, they go off too. Like, they can feel it. They know exactly where the landing is. And that's because they're brothers, not because they're good musicians. I think it's because they're brothers. They've been playing together since they were children.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds about right.
They know how the other one thinks, I think.
Yeah. Well, they can predict just based on repetition. It's like a golf swing. They've been doing it for so long. Yes, Wolfie is probably the nicest person I've ever met. He's got like this glow and this really positive vibe to him, and
he's a good kid.
He really is, and he's smart, and let's face it, he brought them back. And I'd love to see the original 4 just because that's who I am and that's what I grew up on. But we wouldn't have the last 15 years 12 years without Wolfie, because Wolfie started playing old songs with his dad and started pushing them, until they finally called Roth. I mean, he did it. So
it's very true.
Did you, Dave, did you go to the 07 show at MSG?
Yes.
And you got those tickets when they came out, I'm sure.
I didn't hit
StubHub them.
No, they were given to me. Van Halen gave them to me. 7 and 08, both, because I sold 8 Frankensteins when I worked at Guitar Center.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a gift. When Fender told him how many one guy sold, he said, "Get that whole guitar department tickets for the area shows," and that's what happened.
Like $250,000 in guitars.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
What about Johnny? Did you go to one on that tour?
The 07 tour?
Yeah, first time Dave came back. Did you catch it?
I saw them 07. I saw them in San Jose. I think
So
the Shark Tank or whatever.
November 07.
I think.
Wow, you guys with your dates, man.
Oh, I got those dates down.
I can't remember dates to save my life. Dates, I'm like, what? Yeah, I remember that tour. I can't tell you when it was. I can't even tell you what time of the year it was. I think I can remember. I think it was either in the fall or the winter, but that's about all I can remember. Or I think 07 was in the winter and 08 was in the spring, I think.
Well, it was one tour, and it was supposed to go until April, and then he obviously did what he did there in December, January, and most of February. If you watch those shows, ladies and gentlemen, it's probably the saddest thing you've ever seen besides 03, because he goes on some kind of bender there. I saw him at Staples Center in November 20th, and that's the show where I when it came out, the minute it came out, I bought like 2 $500 tickets. I didn't care. I heard, it was Dave and Eddie back, and that set list was just incredible.
It was just off the hook. It was off the hook.
You never thought you'd see it, and then there it is. And I went to the Staples Center show. I had pretty good seats, but I wanted to get closer. So I looked on eBay and I found a week later they were playing in Fresno, and I got some pit seats in Fresno. And so I'm 5th row there inside that ramp that they had. You remember?
Yeah.
They had the circular ramp. And I'll never forget, my first date with my now wife was that show, because my friend couldn't go. So I asked a waitress in a restaurant. I grew up with her, but we'd never, gone out. I don't think she ever liked me, but I think she started to catch on a little at that time, because I was going into a restaurant, and my friend flaked out. He was sick. So she's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Well, my partner that I was going to go to Fresno to see the show with, which is a 3.5-hour drive from Los Angeles, by the way. He's out. I got an extra ticket for Van Halen." And she goes, "Do they play Running with the Devil?" And I was like, "You're going." And we went, and I didn't tell her where the seats were. So it was one of those, like, we kept passing through checkpoints, and she's looking at me like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm serious." And that was a great show. He was hammered, but he wasn't really hammered. But that was a great show that night. They play better shows in the small towns, I feel, because there's no pressure, and the crowds are just insane. The LA crowd is just not going to be, half the people in there got a free ticket, corporate, and those small towns are where it's at. So we drove up there and had the greatest day ever. And I mean, not to get corny on everybody, but I always wondered my whole life what Van Halen, why it all happened like it happened, and what it all meant, and to find the person you actually marry and have children with because of the Van Halen reunion show.
Pretty intense.
It was like everything kind of came together. Like, oh, this is why I like Van Halen, this is what it brought me to eventually.
That's pretty, that's another great story. It's a great happy ending. It's a happy beginning and a happy ending.
But then a week and a half later, they played in Anaheim, and it was the worst show I've ever seen. And I was crying. I felt so bad for him. He couldn't play. He couldn't play.
Wow. Well, I mean, didn't he also have surgery on his hand at that time, or didn't they stop the shows because
the surgery was after the tour in the summer in Germany, and so maybe his hand was bothering him. But when they came back from the hiatus when he went in and played that MSG show. I went to that show. The first, sorry, this is crazy, guys. The second show after they came back from Eddie's rehab on the 08 tour.
Yeah, there were 3 shows. I went to the second show. There were 3 shows at MSG. In 08. In 08, there was
one in 07, and they came back. It was supposed to be St. Patrick's Day, and then they rescheduled it for May 23rd. And I remember because we'd already bought plane tickets, my new girlfriend and I, to go to see Van Halen in New York. My parents at the time had a little studio, so it was a great way to get away and then go to MSG and see this show. We bought tickets, airline tickets, and we couldn't cancel them, so we went to New York on St. Patrick's Day for nothing, but we had a great time. And then when we're there, they announced the reschedule, and so we had to get tickets 2 months later for the May 23rd show. They came back on April 19th at the Tiger Jam in Las Vegas, and we went to that show, and Eddie was like with a vengeance back.
Oh, yeah.
That was after 2 months sober or whatever.
I remember that.
Seeing those pictures.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I don't buy the hand thing at all. Like, he was just gone. He was so gone.
Well, the way I remember it is I remember going to the show in 07 and thinking it was good. It was good. But I was like, man, Eddie's not really, he's still not there. After 04, he's still not quite himself. He's good. There's no question that it's Eddie Van Halen, and like on his worst day, he's still pretty fantastic.
Yes.
And then I remember going to the 08 show, and I'm like, this is a different Eddie Van Halen. It's like he's been practicing every day for 10 hours a day. And I remember, and I was like, that was amazing. It was just amazing.
Yeah. No, it was because he wasn't high. Yeah. You could see it. There's pictures, and like you can tell when he's got it. He's obviously thin, and his mouth is open when he's playing. Like, it's just open. There's no smile, by the way.
He's breathing out of his mouth. Yeah.
Right. There's no smile. There's no grin. And he's doing the one lick from Pound Cake. The wee wee wee. He does that like 20 times in the show. I mean, that's like a tell that he's not there. But when he came back, that Vegas show was amazing. But the Madison Square Garden May 23rd show, which was like the third or fourth to last show of the whole reunion tour. I would always try to get seats in different places, and these seats I got were front row, but at the front of the section in MSG, right behind Wolfie's bass camp,
right,
stage right. And we're on the front row of the rail, so there's a 10-foot drop to the floor, right? But we're above where Wolf is off stage at you. We could look down. I looked down and actually told him his hair was nice because he was brushing his hair into a mirror at a break. And I was like, "Your hair looks great," and he looked up and whatever. But
it's so funny the things we remember that we say, and they're like,
it is. Yeah. It is. But we were so close to the stage that we were lit up by the lights. So, if anybody who's ever been on a stage, they know that you can't see crap when you're on a stage. The only thing you can see is what's lit. So if people are lit up, you can see the people. So we were the only people that they could see. So they were making a lot of eye contact. Dave, because the ramp came up right by us, that ramp that we had.
Sure.
And towards the end of that show, I'm obviously jumping and screaming, being crazy, and Eddie is looking towards us and smiling, and I reach out my arms like an air hug, and Eddie air hugs back, and like when you have to sit down, and then the whole section of people like sees it and they're all patting you on the, you know, like it was pretty cool. I mean, I'm such a groupie, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Bob Miller asks, Dave, where did you get the EVH sign on the wall? Very nice. The Music Zoo gave that to me for Christmas a couple years back.
Oh, you know what I'd love to get is in the Guitar Centers, they have the wallpaper of the amp, the backline. Have you seen those?
Yep.
Where do you get that wallpaper?
Good question.
The dumpster.
I would imagine Fender gives it to Guitar Center for their stores.
Because I want wallpaper like that. No?
Well, I'm not sure if I'd put that wallpaper up here. Well, you know what? Maybe on that wall I would. Maybe on that wall.
That would look
but
really
I was
cool.
thinking about painting that wall red with black and white stripes. Just that wall. When I worked at Guitar Center, you've gone to Guitar Centers and you know obviously know that there's a front office. There's always a front office. And when I worked there, I was a manager, and that was my office. So I got the okay to stripe up that wall, that front wall. And I striped up that wall and put whatever replicas I owned at the time. I left them in the store. And I put them on that wall. And for like years, for a couple years, I had my guitars with the price tags on them for, $1 million, because every guitar that's in the store, whether it's for sale or not, has to have a price tag on it.
Right.
So I put some stupid, ridiculous.
It has to be sold for that price.
Yeah. So if no one would buy them, but if anyone ever wanted to buy it, it's $1 million. You want that guitar? It's $1 million. So I had my guitars with that price tag on it, and the wall was striped, and it was just I don't know what I'm getting at. Anyway, it was a wall that I had striped up, red with black and white stripes, and it was the Van Halen wall for a long time. And when I left the store, when I left Guitar Center, I had gone in as a customer, and the wall was changed. They repainted it some other color, like a lavender or something. So they took the paint down.
There you go. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, shall we do this again?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to start over? This is just a test.
Oh, cool. Oh, we're not on yet? Okay.
Yeah, we're not even on. Yeah, well, Caleb, man. Great. Well, first of all, great to meet you. I mean, in person, because I guess we've been on Facebook and stuff for, oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll do the virtual yeah.
No, but Dave, a few years when I was painting my repainting that Tom Anderson, basically a gray, black and white version of a striped red guitar, was the Hot for Teacher guitar. I sought out Dave because I'd seen his stuff, and I was like, "Can you get me pictures of the back of the HFT?" So I can do that, and he sent me pictures of every little nook, and he sent me like 20 pictures, like through Messenger.
I remember that. I totally remember that. So yeah,
I appreciated that. That was the coolest thing. And you invited me to come in if I was in town. So that was very cool.
Everyone that watches us and everyone that I'm friendly with, I consider this like a little
museum.
Museum, yeah. So if you're in town, come on over. Let me know you're here, and and
you should almost like make a backdrop so that people can pose with the different guitars.
That would be cool. That is kind of like a backdrop, because Rob Johnson comes over from time to time, and that's the backdrop that we take pictures on. We usually take a picture every time of the two of us holding whatever guitars, and jerking each other off or whatever, and whatever, and it's just against that wall. It's it's the picture wall. It's the picture wall. Or as Johnny would say, the picture wall.
Photo.
Yeah, I say photo. You say picture.
Mm-hmm.
Pitcher.
By the way, pitches and catches, I think, in 2 weeks.
Oh. Well, I'm a Kings fan, but I am a Yankee fan because my father's from the Bronx, and I spent the first 8 years of my life in New York and Connecticut. So there you go.
Awesome.
Wow.
R2, R3, I was just kidding about the jerking each other off. I really don't do that.
Oh, come on.
Cool.
Well, I know nobody's ever going to watch this far into this video, so that's okay.
Yes, lavender is soothing, Greg Walker. You're absolutely right. It's psychologically proven.
But red makes you buy. Buy as in B-U-Y. It makes you buy.
Okay, because I was afraid there.
Makes you fast. Yeah.
Yeah, the color red is it makes you it does something that it makes you want to buy stuff. It's
That's weird.
been proven.
Mm-hmm. So what?
Right
Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay. Caleb, again, great to meet you. I mean, in person. Although it looks like maybe in a few weeks we will meet in person, hopefully. So
We'll make it happen.
that'll be awesome.
We'll make it happen. We'll do an unboxing of your face when we shave, right?
and unshaving.
I cannot wait. I can't wait for that beard to be off. Can't wait.
It's near Taliban levels right now.
I haven't decided if I'm going to wear it.
They may not let you into the NAMM show.
Yeah, they're gonna put you in the separate line, I think.
You get back down to Catella, man. Yeah. Yes. We'll see. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, Caleb, great to see you, man. Great stories. Everything. Don't hang up. Nesdal, great to see you again, man.
Same here. See you. Are we on Monday? Are you going to be in town Monday or no?
Yeah, I think we're going to do a Monday. Jay is going to unbox.
Yeah.
Wolfgang. So
I think I'm going to have an unboxing too, but it's going to be a Star Trek thing.
Okay, well, I'll be gone.
Great.
I'll be at Last Jedi on Monday. All right. Everybody, Timothy Pierce, R2, R3 Locking Nut, John Beal 5150, Blackie DH, Bo Zeke, BV Ninja, everybody, thanks for watching us. Leave a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and subscribe to Caleb's channel. That'll be down in the description in just a few minutes. So everybody have a great Friday, great weekend, and yeah, keep rocking.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. See you, Caleb.
Thanks.
See you, Dave.
See you later.
All right, johnnybean.com. Good night.